Hi, it's James. I'm the unofficial mayor of Cowboy Country. Welcome back to the channel. If you can tell by the tone of my voice, I'm not a happy camper. I am still stunned at the results of the Oklahoma State game. I'm very disappointed. I'm very frustrated. But to the words of the alma mater, we are loyal and true. And whether Oklahoma State went 11-1 or 1-11, this is my team, and this is who I root for, because this is where I graduated from back in 2004. So I love the Cowboys. Always have, always will. But we'll talk about that. The fact that a couple of my other favorite teams also lost. Now, I didn't predict the South Carolina game, but they lost to Missouri. So, one of the things that's helped me to stay sane as a sports fan is that I root for more than one team. I have a little soft spot in my heart for South Carolina just because I went to a couple of their games when I was at the Army Chaplain School, which is also why I got to go see William Bryce Stadium. So when I tell you that Texas's stadium is very similar or reminded me a lot of William Bryce, I can speak from experience. I've seen over 30 football stadiums in person. So I kind of know what I'm talking about. Anyway, unfortunately, my picks didn't go as I had hoped. In fact, I ended up with the exact same record in week 9 that I did in week 8, 4-5. So I'm a little frustrated. But there were some bright spots. Obviously, TCU did, in fact, beat West Virginia. And I knew that would be a tough game. I mean, JT Daniels for West Virginia is a good, solid quarterback. So TCU won 41-34. So that was good. Houston beat USF. The only reason I picked Houston on that one is because it's at Houston. But Dana Holgerson's a pretty decent coach. I wouldn't say he's a great coach, but I think he's got that program headed in the right direction. Obviously, Oklahoma State, tons of injuries. And I don't think I forgot the name of the defensive tackle that announced that he's going pro and he's not going to come back. But losing him did hurt. And obviously, I think it hurt more than we want to admit. I made the mistake of picking against the Knights again, but I thought Cincinnati would beat them. Here was a game of two future Big 12 teams, but UCF pulled it off 25-21. That's my fault. Baylor at Texas Tech. The way Morton has looked over the last couple weeks, I thought he was going to do amazing, but he threw 3 interceptions in the game. So Baylor took advantage of that, and they won 45-17. And Baylor's running the ball really well. I've already made my picks in my thing for next week, and they've got to go to OU. So, anyway, speaking of the Sooners, I did pick them to beat Iowa State, and they did. It was a dogfight for the first half, but they pulled it out 27-13, which is good. I know some of you that are diehard Oklahoma State fans, you just absolutely hate the Sooners, but I just have a respect for that program. Going all the way back, Bud Wilkinson, that record of 49-0 or 49 straight wins, I don't think that's ever going to be repeated. Barry Switzer, his teams were absolutely dominant in the 80s. And then Bob Stoops comes in there and does a tremendous job. And Lincoln Riley looked like he was going to be the heir apparent, but then he took off and went to USC. But I have some respect for the Sooners. I think they're a good football program, and heck, even if things tank. Now I know Tennessee beat the tar out of Kentucky earlier today, but Mark Stoops would be a good fit for OU if Brett Venables doesn't work. East Carolina was at BYU. I mean, you got an East Coast team having to go all the way to the mountain time zone to play BYU. I thought that was going to impact them, but apparently not. East Carolina won 27-24. So I did not see that one coming. I did pick SMU to beat Tulsa, and they did 45-34. I've seen SMU in person twice, and I think they've got a really good quarterback, and they've got a really good program. And I think they'd be a good addition to the Big 12. And then I thought, well, Syracuse beat the tar out of North Carolina State at home earlier this year. They got Notre Dame at home. Notre Dame's not even ranked. So I picked the orange, and Notre Dame wins 41-24. So heck, I could have gone 1-8 this week if as long as Oklahoma State was the one that won, I would have been happy, but didn't happen. And so I'm very frustrated. But this is one of those times in life where you just have to say that not everything's going to go your way. Not everything's going to go the way you want it to, and you just have to focus on the things that you can focus on and the things that you do have power to influence and change. Which, in my case, is this channel. So next week, well, this video will air Sunday. I don't think I'm going to do a video on Monday. I'm not sure. There's going to be a day, either Monday or Tuesday, where I don't do a video. I will do my Week 10 picks on Wednesday. And here's why. So we got some good content coming up. All right. So you got to stay tuned. Next Thursday, I'm going to be at Rice. I don't remember who they're playing, but the thing about Rice Stadium that is so special is that it's one of three places, three college stadiums that has held a Super Bowl. The only other two are the Rose Bowl, where UCLA plays. They've hosted the Super Bowl a couple times. I do believe that the Coliseum, where USC plays, also has hosted the Super Bowl more than once. The third place that has hosted a Super Bowl that is a college stadium is Rice Stadium. They hosted Super Bowl 8. And if you take away the tarp and it can hold up to 70,000. Now they have to put tarps in one end zone just because they're not getting the attendance. They're a private school, and they're just not getting the support in Houston that other college teams are getting. Of course, Houston has professional football team, professional basketball team, professional baseball team. So even though Houston's a city with well over 1 million people, not as many people go to Rice football games. But it's a historic stadium. and it's something I think would be worth taking a look at. And I do believe that you will enjoy that video. Next Saturday, I'm going to North Texas. Once again, I forgot who they're playing. I don't really care. What I want to do, and I noticed this when I did the video of the outside of Apogee Stadium there in North Texas in Denton. What I noticed was all of the different food selections that are available. You see, as a fan, there's more to the experience of watching a football stadium than having lots and lots of seats. You have to have good parking. You have to have good concessions. You have to be able to see the game from wherever you're sitting. So there's a lot of other things that are involved in the experience of going to a football game. I know that K-State just whooped the tar out of Oklahoma State here today, but I will tell you, for example, when I went there to Manhattan in 2020, one of the things I noticed was they have this big speaker on the top of one of the end zones. It's the area that they just renovated. In fact, they were still in the process of renovating it when I was there in 2020. I wish I had done a video back then. But at the top, there's this big, humongous speaker, and they play a lot of music in between. Like when teams have called timeout and stuff like that. Of all the places I've ever been to, Manhattan, by far, played the best music. I don't know what it was. They just loved playing 70s and 80s rock. And it actually made the experience of going to the game better. Anyway, I'm disappointed with what happened today with Oklahoma State, but I also know these are young kids, and a lot of them were hurt and banged up. So we just need to support them, and God willing, they're going to pull off a victory against Kansas next week, because Kansas, quite frankly, and unfortunately, is also banged up as well. So it's that time of the year. Do I dare say that there's one bright spot in all of this? And that is, Oklahoma State is 6-2. If they do win out and beat Kansas, Iowa State, OU, and West Virginia, they'll finish 10-2, and most likely would end up in the Alamo Bowl. Now, I know for those of you who are Oklahoma State fans and you like me, thought they were going to end up in the Big 12 title game, you're disappointed. For me, since I live in Killeen, the Killeen area, which is almost directly in between Waco and Austin, I'm also about an hour and 45 minutes away from San Antonio. So obviously, if the Cowboys were to go to the Alamo Bowl, I would definitely be there. So I'm just basically trying to look at the bright spot and trying to find a glimmer of hope after just today's. Everything fell apart. Everything. But it is what it is. There are many highs in being a college football fan. There's sometimes lows. And today's a low point. I'll just say that. If you are new, please hit like and subscribe. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you to everybody who watches. Please let your friends know about this channel. I'd like to get the channel above 1,000 before the end of the year. We're at about 200 subscribers. So anyway, hope you have a good weekend. And as always, go Pokes.